Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft Hardcore series. So far we've managed to survive for 40 days within the world. Let's see if we can go a bit longer. Day 41, I'm kicking things off with work on the watermelon farm. I'm wanting to increase the number of melons we get per harvest in order to get more emeralds from the farmers. We've already expanded the area slightly by digging out more trenches. Now we need to get more of the melons planted so we can get the farm up to full capacity. First, however, we need to light the area up. I haven't got a single torch in the area at all, and come night time this place is a breeding site for mobs, which sucks because I actually sometimes fancy a midnight shift on the farm and I just can't come here because it's too dangerous, despite the fact I've got diamond tools and diamond armor. And we're going to be going with the trapdoor method for lighting the place up. The trapdoors can be placed on top of the water without removing the water, and then torches can be placed on top of the trapdoors. This enables us to light the area without actually having to sacrifice space for where we want to grow the crops. Day 42. I'm in the village breeder haggling with the farmers. I've harvested the current crop of watermelons, which is roughly at around 30 to 40% maximum capacity, and the amount of emeralds I've gained from said crop is it's underwhelming. Doing a quick estimation in my top of the range brain, I come to the conclusion that future harvest collective from the farm at full capacity are also going to be underwhelming, and this poses a problem for us. But every problem has a solution, and this one is no different. The two solutions I've come up with is to either scrap the manual farm we have here and build an automated watermelon farm that will continuously collect melons around the clock, or to increase the size of this manual farm. And despite having that top of the range brain I mentioned about moments ago, a simple automated watermelon farm is beyond me, so I'm expanding our current farm. The first part of expansion is knowing how large of an expansion I'm going to be making. I'll find it out by expanding the water trenches to a point I'm happy with. Because the farm is now lit, staying up to do some late night digging didn't feel nearly as dangerous as it once would have. In fact, I was hardly bothered by mobs at all. I mean, yes, I had zombies that had spawned in the jungle pathfind towards me, thinking they could get an easy kill while I was tired, but it was nothing that couldn't be handled. Okay, yeah, it wasn't only a zombie visiting, there was also a skeleton who thought it would be wise to take me on. But with my better armor and more importantly a shield, these guys aren't really anything to be concerned about. And it seems they're actually clumsier than I remember, because this one fell into one of the trenches I dug out, but managed to hide itself from the sun rays. I'll probably deal with him tomorrow. I've got a lot of digging planned for day 43. Now that I know where the farm will expand to, thanks to the trenches I've dug, I can get to work on clearing out the mass of land in the way. It's mostly dirt, so having a good shovel is a massive advantage. I'm extremely grateful that we now have access to diamond shovels from our master toolsmith. I mean, thinking back to not so long ago when we only had stone tools makes me visibly shudder. I can't prove to you that I visibly shudder. You're on the other side of the screen in the location who knows where, and I'm not going to go as far as film myself in real life in order to convince you of this. You're just going to have to take my word on it. I mean, you don't have to, but I'd like you to. In the digging process, we uncovered the world's clumsiest skeleton from last night, exposing him to the glorious sunshine, and all it took was a single axe strike to put him out of his misery. Day 44. I'm roughly 60% through clearing the area, but that's not 100%, hence why we're still shoveling. It wasn't until the afternoon that I cleared out all of the terrain and could finally see the new size of the melon farm, and I can already taste profits. But we still have more blocks to clear. You see, it might be surprising to hear, but watermelons, for whatever reason, can't be grown on stone blocks, but only on dirt, which means we're going to have to take out all of the stone blocks where melons are going to be planted and then fill them in with the dirt blocks, so they can be planted. And from all the dirt we'd collected, we have more than enough resources to place as many dirt blocks as we need. I had a quick break from work on the farm to randomly turn one of the villagers into a librarian in the hopes of getting a good enchantment. They had looting too. Not really what I was after, but it's also not the worst in the world. Day 45. If you're going to use the trapdoor method of lighting the area up, make sure you place the water in first before you put the trapdoors on top. Not like what I've done here. It's a pain to fill the block under the trapdoor with water when you've got the trapdoor in place. It probably doesn't look it on screen, but it really is. I've had to flip all of the trapdoors down into a vertical position, as apparently they block flowing water when up in a horizontal position, and yet you can put water in first and then the trapdoor on top and it's fine. Game mechanics, huh? Once the trenches were finally filled with water, I then had to flip each of the trapdoors back to the horizontal position before placing the torches on top and having a fully lit melon farm. And it turns out I actually missed a portion of blocks that still need clearing. The final thing to do was harvest the melons that had grown while I'd been expanding the farm and convert them into seeds and then plant them into every available dirt block. What a nice sight to see on day 46, a watermelon farm that should provide us a lot more emeralds than previous, while being quicker to harvest than the amount of time I'd need to spend gathering the equivalent emeralds worth of sticks to trade with Fletchers. With the melon farm set up, we had our supply sorted. Now it was time to create the demand. We needed more farmers. With a few extra composters, I began placing them into the breeder. However, it wasn't as simple as placing all of the composters down and gaining a handful of new farmers. No. You see, we don't actually have many crops for trading, and novice farmers love to offer emerald trades for crops. That's a problem. We're talking wheat, potatoes, beetroot, carrots, and I don't have enough of any of them to get 5 novice level farmers to the next level, or to the next 2 levels. However, there is one trade novice farmers will provide that is tailor-made for people like me who don't have many crops to spare and are willing to buy their way to the next level. A single emerald for 6 bread. I'll take it. If any of the new farmers don't offer that trade, to remedy that, it's as simple as breaking the composter they're aligned to, so they lose their profession and then replace the composter, promoting them to a worker with different trades, which is why I'm having to place one composter at a time so I can keep track of which villager offers which trades. Day 47, and I'm back into the business of farm expansion, only this time it's my manual sugarcane farm. And no, before you ask, I'm not creating a redstone powered sugarcane farm because I don't want to, and because I don't know how. Like with the watermelon farm, I've not placed enough torches to light the place up, meaning this is another area I tend to avoid come night time. I mean, I'd be fine if it did turn to night and I was working away in the area. It's mainly surprise creeper blasts I'm concerned about. Seeing as I'm going to be replanting each harvest, that means each harvest our sugarcane crops triple in number, and it's not going to be long until this entire area is teeming with sugarcane. And I'm also still continuing to breed the cows. Back on day 38, if you remember, I expressed my worries of falling into the pen and being entity crushed to death. 9 days on and those worries have turned into actual fear. Cow breeding has quickly become one of the most dangerous threats to my hardcore playthrough. But it's not today that they get me, and come night time I'm remembering my roots with a spot of tree farming. Get it? Roots? I'm not over here collecting logs to convert down into sticks to trade with the Fletchers. No, I'm actually here because I'm starting to run low on wood. Day 48 and I'm still log harvesting. I was only going to do a couple of trees, but then I thought while I'm here I might as well do all of them. The more I collect, the longer the time period it will be between now and the next time I have to collect more logs, which shouldn't be for at least 10 days if I don't change my mind about selling them to the Fletchers. After the last of the trees were taken down and a fresh batch of saplings were replanted, I spent the remainder of the day down in the mines mining. I'm mainly down here for stone. I have quite a few stacks of cobblestone I can smelt into quite a few stacks of stone, but they won't be enough for my next project, and so I'm swinging my pickaxe like a madman, picking up as much of the stuff as I can. My aim is to get around, 26 or 27 stacks of the block. Day 49, this is what the melon farm looks like at near to full capacity. Much more impressive. Of course, I can't just look at the ripe melons and walk away from them. I've got to collect them. I can tell each one of them is full of juice, and at peak ripeness, the farmers are going to bite my hand off for these. Though I can't say I'm a fan of this weather. It was sunny only moments before and now it's pouring down. Obviously, Mojang has based their weather system off of the United Kingdom. Profit, 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 profit. With several stacks of melons now inside my inventory, I traded them away for profits. Though I forgot that apprentice leveled farmers, the level following novice but preceding journeyman, don't offer the melon trade. It's actually journeyman leveled farmers that provide that trade. So I had to spend some of the emeralds gained from the other farmers on leveling up the apprentice farmers. So the total net profit I gain per melon harvest it's unknown at the moment. But there are 7 farmers, and the most I can make from a single farmer at a time is 12 emeralds. So, following simple mathematics, the most I can make at a single time is 84 emeralds, and I had a stack left over, so I could add another farmer into the fray in order to make 96 emeralds a harvest. Not as good returns trading sticks with the Fletchers got us, but then again I no longer have to spend an entire day doing nothing but collecting sticks, and so for that I'm grateful. Day 50, and we've made it to half a century, and I'm spending some of the time throwing stacks of cobblestone into furnaces to smelt into stone. We've got 8 furnaces on the go in order to get through our stock of cobblestone. While they smelt, I'm off to find jobs to keep me busy, because just standing around staring at a smelter trying to smelt is a really boring activity. And surprise, surprise, I'm back at the melon farm. I have a few watermelons inside the melon chest that I'm taking to the farmers to turn into emeralds. Some of those emeralds I used to purchase another diamond axe with silk touch from our toolsmith. Our other one broke. The axe you see in our hotbar is the one we gained from our other master toolsmith that has unbreaking 3, efficiency 3 and fortune 1, but no silk touch. With new silk touch axe in hand, I head back to the melon farm to get the next harvest. I only harvested these yesterday and already most of them have grown. It's good to know that the time in between harvests isn't long. I'm back down in the mine day 51, replacing the finished smelted stone with a fresh batch of cobblestone and top up of fuel in the form of coal. This next batch of cobblestone will give me an additional 8 stacks of stone once they've done cooking, and that will put our reserves at above the 28 stacks I was wanting to collect. Brilliant. Now I could begin work on our next project, and that's going to take me out of our base and to the ocean, which fortunately for us is only a short boat trip away. Once at a spot I was happy with, I built a small dirt platform and then towered up from that platform to y equals 200, high enough that any mobs at ground level despawn. And this is good for me, as the project I'm choosing to work on next is a mob spawner. An early game mob spawner, like the one I have in mind, will be a great addition to the world for us. Not only for collecting experience, but also for gaining a variety of useful mob drops we're going to be able to put to use. I'm talking gunpowder, bones, things like that. But we have to get there first, and at the moment we have nothing more than a wooden platform high in the sky with no easy access. It's a good thing I've brought a couple of water buckets with me to create an infinity pool for any future water needs. One of those needs being to empty a bucket of water off of the side of the platform in order for us to swim up and down from sea level whenever we need to reach the platform. And did I ever tell you that I'm an adrenaline junkie? Well, day 52, you're about to find out. I've left some of the supplies I'll be needing for the project up in the sky because I couldn't carry all of them from the base to where we're going to be building the mob spawner, which is why now I'm heading back to base to pick up the rest of them. Except I somehow managed to get lost in the jungle. Weird, because I thought I was going back the way I'd gone, but it seems not, and now I have no idea where I am or where my base is. I mean, I've got to be fairly close by because my base is next to the jungle biome. I just don't know which way. Oh, where do I go? Getting lost and exploring are both similar enough for me to tell you that I was out exploring in the jungle when I came across a ruined portal. Sometimes you can get enchanted golden apples in the nearby chest, but no such luck today, just junk. Still, I took the time to mine all of the obsidian for creating future nether portals, the gold blocks and the magma blocks because I like magma blocks. Half a day later I managed to find our base. Harvesting the fully grown wheat crops, I take them over to the cow pen where I gingerly walk around the top of the fence trying not to fall in. I'm thinking it's nearing the point in time where I reduce their numbers, but that point in time is not now. What is now is collecting the rest of the things needed for the mob spawner, i.e. half of the stone blocks needed for the mob spawner. I'm probably going to have to make another trip because I don't have room for the rest. Back at the base of the mob spawner, I use planks to create another platform atop the water, and then a nether portal. I'd like to create a road between our base portal and this portal for much quicker access, and I was planning on lighting it and heading through to have a look where our spawn within the nether is, but I forgot flint and steel, so I can't do that, and that's another reason I'm going to have to go back to the base. Day 53, I'm back up high in the sky and into our wooden platform. It's not big enough to hold both the base of the mob spawner and allow space for walking around it. Platform complete, it's time to get to work on the mob spawner itself. I start with the base, laying the chests that item dropped from the mobs will be stored, and hoppers above connected to them to ensure that that does indeed happen. And that's about as far as I build. I don't want to get too far into the build with having all the resources readily available. I want my momentum to keep on going once I've got it. Currently, half of the stone blocks needed are back at base, and the disruption to momentum of the build will be much larger having to go back to the base halfway through over having the other half of the blocks in the chest at the base of the spawner. After returning from the base, I'd remembered some flint and steel, so I lit our newest nether portal and headed through to see where we've spawned. And once again, it's inside the basalt delta in a precariously dangerous position. Day 54. With all of the blocks needed for the build, I make some serious progress on the mob spawner, building the platform where mobs will spawn and placing trapdoors at the edge of the trenches in order to trick the mobs into thinking there's a block there and have them walk off into the flowing water below. I'm building additional layers to the mob spawner. The spawner itself will work fine as a single layer mob spawner, however I remembered that this design can accommodate up to 3 layers. I'm not sure why 3 layers and not 4, 5 or 6 layers or however many levels you want, but I do know that smarter people than me who have invested more time into learning mob spawning mechanics know a lot more than me, and so if they say 3 layers is optimal for this design, 3 layers is what I'm going to go with. And the problem with 3 layers is that it requires more resources that I didn't bring enough of, and I realised how stupid that must seem after I spent a lot of time gathering resources for this very mob spawner. Maybe not as stupid as I think it seems, because you guys probably haven't seen the amount of work gone into collecting this stone that obviously I've experienced, because it's cut down and edited for you guys to watch. I mean, I forgot that this was a 3-layer design. I thought I could get away with just a single layer, and I had brought enough cobblestone that I could sort of do the second layer, but apart from that I needed to go back for a third. Look, I'm sorry, alright? No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. It's a genuine mistake. I'm not going to apologise for that. Yeah. Through the power of editing on day 56, you will never see the trip back to the base to gather resources and then back again. What you will see is me riding the water stream up to the top like the main character of this story that I am. Unfortunately, I didn't actually have enough stone or cobblestone to finish the build. Kind of embarrassing. So I had to delve into my cobbled deep slate reserves. No big deal. I have more than enough of the block and I have no qualms with mixing and matching the blocks. This is an early game farm and its appearance is not high on my priority list, and you can definitely tell that with this next clip because I don't have problems with adding another block to the mix, planks. While I have more than enough cold deep slate to finish the build, I'm not sure how to say this, but I kind of didn't bring enough of the blocks with me to do that, so I had to resort to planks. Yeah, I know, it's really embarrassing. Don't tell anyone, please. But none of that matters because the spawner is now complete and I'm happy with what we've achieved. Now we have an easy way of gaining both experience and useful mob drops, especially gunpowder. Yes! Day 57 and I'm towering up from sea level with spruce planks up to the edge of the mob spawner platform. Before I declare the mob spawner completely finished, there's a small matter of creating a way to get back up to the spawner other than swimming up a torrent of water every time. In a previous hardcore attempt I built a mob spawner with a staircase up to it. Here's a couple of screenshots of the thing. As you can see, it was a large staircase, and some behind the scenes information is that it took a long time to build. Not that I couldn't do that, it's just I don't want to spend the amount of time needed to create the staircase like that when I could go with a much simpler and just as effective placement of ladders. Not as interesting to look at, I know, but it does the job. And while I was at the top, having placed the ladders in, I couldn't resist giving the mobs a few swings of the sword. Back at base I came close to killing the cows, like really close, but instead decided on one last breeding of them. I've began to see cows getting hurt from being too packed in there with so many other cows, so that's entity cramming out work. But don't worry, because it's 100% free range, so you know their living conditions are absolutely fine and lawful. Day 58, I've purposely left the beds within the village breeder so that the villagers are able to sleep, and iron golems are able to spawn. At the moment, killing iron golems is my most reliable source of iron, though I've lost many a hardcore world from getting hit once or twice from these things, so I'm always kind of wary of doing so. I'm sick of having all of my tools be made of diamond while my sword is of iron. My weaponsmith isn't master level yet, and so hasn't offered me the trade option for a diamond sword, and it's why I'm back at my melon farm harvesting any that have recently grown so I can convert them into emerald. But when it came to trading with the weaponsmith, I wouldn't have been able to buy my way from expert level to master level in a single sitting, but he was still accepting iron and gaining a decent amount of experience towards the next level. I almost got him there, but didn't have enough iron to push him over the edge to the next level. A couple of iron golem kills later and I was back trading him to master level, and that was when he offered me an enchanted diamond sword with the enchantment Bane of Arthropod. Ugh, more like bane of my life. Still, a diamond sword is a diamond sword. I'm back in the mines on day 59 trying to gather as much stone as I can to try and replenish some of the stock we've cleared ourselves out from building the mob spawner. You saw where we spawned in the nether with our mob spawner portal. It's unsafe and if left unworked on will be the death of me. The ambition is to create another portal area fashioned after our first. Simple, safe, effective and spawn proof from nether mobs. While stone is the main objective of being down there, it's always nice to come across other things I'd like, such as more diamonds. Yum yum yum. Day 60. If you're squeamish, look away now, because it had finally come to the moment of inevitability when I stopped by the cow pen. It was time to cash in on my investment in the form of leather. The raw beef also dropped. I considered to be more of a byproduct than anything else. At first I was hesitant about getting into the pen with the animals because of their numbers. I mean, I'd seen entity cramming at work. Even without having wheat in hand and having them swarm me, their numbers were still daunting, which is why I took it slow and worked methodically through one swipe at a time. The whole thing took a lot longer than I'd anticipated. It's a good thing I upgraded from an iron saw to a diamond one. I honestly don't think it would have made it through this. Their numbers are crazy high. And have a look at this. Take a look at how much leather we acquired from those cows. Over 3 full stacks of the stuff. By this point, the daylight hours were coming to an end and the sun was setting. The Sugarcane Farm was ripe for farming. And I don't know if you are wondering, but if you are wondering, yes, the Sugarcane Farm is now at maximum capacity. I've been doing harvests here and there since day 47. I simply haven't shown it on camera. I knew this was bound to happen at some point. I'm skipping sleep so frequently nowadays that a visit from these guys has come to be expected. Lucky me for not being disappointed, right? I had to watch my back doubly because a local iron golem thought it was his duty to rid the base of any phantoms he saw. His help was a lot more of a hindrance than anything. I got 1 or 2 with a bow, the rest I ran from into the cover of the village breeder, more out of irritation than fear for my life, but also kind of fear for my life, but really irritation. And that's where we're going to be ending things this episode. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to watch more of this series, hit the subscribe button, switch the bell on, hit that like button, and leave a comment. As for me, I'll see you next time. Keep it real, juice out.